Okay, so let's talk about this common belief that we don't deserve money. Now, deserving, worth, these are all very, very common challenges. Obviously, we have them with respect to money, but we also have them in other areas of our life as well. So, if you have grown up in an environment where maybe money was scarce in your family, so when you wanted something, you were often made to feel like you shouldn't be asking for it. It's wrong for you to want something. And you start to develop a sense of, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not lovable enough, when none of those things are necessarily true. So let's look at this in a practical way first before we really start to get into clearing and shifting some of these things. So, if money were directly tied to deservingness, wouldn't all good spiritual people, all good, kind hearted people, be very, very abundant? And bad people, drug dealers, thieves, um, criminals, people who are abusing people from a position of power in order to accumulate their money when they actually have no money. So it doesn't add up. Okay. We can we can look in our world around us everywhere and see that there is no hard, fast rule. There's no law of the universe that says only hardworking people can have money, because there are plenty of people who work really hard, sometimes two, three jobs in order to support their family, and are essentially living in poverty. So hard work does not equal money. Okay. We could even go as far as to say that really none of these things make any sense. You can see people who have a lot of money who are really miserable people. So you can't even say, okay, well, money is directly related to being happy, or money is directly related to any one thing. Now, you've got to remember that we live in this law-based universe, okay? And if you have watched any of my other stuff, if you've worked with me individually, you've probably heard me talk about this law-based universe that we live in. So there are absolute laws that govern this universe. The law of gravity doesn't only apply to 99% of people, and then 1% of people are just floating off into outer space. That's not the way that it works. Now, you might say, okay, well, there's a law of gravity, but then how come airplanes and birds and butterflies can fly? Well, there's a law called the law of lift, and that law is senior and works in harmony with the law of gravity. So we're still talking about laws, okay? You're not going to see a human being just taking flight, because the laws that govern the ability to fly under these current circumstances, it doesn't add up, right? So now let's say that in this law-based universe, there has to be a way of us making sense out of why some people have an abundance of money and have accumulated a lot of wealth, and other people have not. So now let's talk about the law of vibration, okay? Now we know from modern physics that everything in this universe is energy. That includes the thoughts that we think and the emotions we feel. Now, in this law-based universe where everything is essentially vibration, even the unseen things are still vibrating. Okay, so the color spectrum that we can't see still has vibrational frequency. Just because our physical senses are not able to interpret those vibrations does not mean that those vibrations do not exist. If you consider yourself a spiritual person at all, You can feel that there is something divine that is inside of us and around us. We can't see it with our physical eyes. And if you're really attuned, you might be able to feel it with your physical senses. But even that, in many cases, is not available to everyone because their senses are not tuned up to that frequency. So what I want you to remember is everything operates according to law. Money has a certain vibrational frequency. Now, if you think about having money and you feel good about it, you are vibrationally aligned with creating money in your reality. If you think about money and you feel fear, scarcity, lack, that's a different vibration. And so what are you creating in your life? Lack, scarcity, not enough money. Okay. So now let's look at someone who has a lot of money, but maybe they're not happy. Okay. If they are focused on more money, more money, more money, more money, and they have a level of belief that they will have more money, more money, more money, more money, they will create more money. Now, that doesn't mean that the money is magically going to make them happy if they're not happy individuals. If they're not vibrating, if they're not thinking, if they're not feeling, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, they're thinking, I'm miserable, I hate my life, but I can have more money. Guess what they're going to create? Exactly that. So I want you to take a moment and I want you to really think about this. If you falsely believe that you're not worthy, as though somehow money has this ability to just choose, oh, you, my friend, you are worthy of having an abundance of me. Money does not. Money doesn't care. Money will go to whoever is vibrating. I allow myself to have more money. I can have more money. I can have an abundance of money. Doesn't matter if they're feeling good while they're believing that they can have more, or if they're feeling bad. Doesn't matter, right? So you are essentially creating your relationship with money by your beliefs and expectations. What are you creating? Okay. Now, if we want to look at this from a spiritual perspective, does God decide who's worthy or not of money? Does God say, oh, you've worked very hard at those 3 jobs, you shall have a lot of money? If that were the case, we would see evidence of that. That is not the case. Okay. If God, this loving God, were choosing who's worthy or not of money, would God say, oh, you have embezzled millions of dollars from unknowing victims, you shall have an abundance of money? God probably would not do that. Okay. So something else is going on here. Now, we've talked about this in another video. What if that's not God's role? Okay. What if a loving God who gave us free will is giving us the ability to make choices and decisions in our life within the parameters of the laws of the universe? And it is our job to operate in accordance with those laws of the universe to create what it is that we want. Okay. If your parents were struggling with money and they were in a negative state and they're telling you, no, you can't have that, their negative state does not mean that you are fundamentally unworthy of money. It means they were struggling. They were in a low vibration. They had a negative mindset and they were projecting that out. They were vibrating that out. That was determining the actions that they took, the thoughts that they thought, the way that they treated you and or anyone else, and has nothing to do with whether or not you are inherently worthy or not of money. In reality, right, the law of more life, which we see all around us, People just keep being born into this world. Plants keep growing, right? Animals are predominantly flourishing. There is a law of more life. That is an indicator to me that this is a loving universe. Even though within these laws of the universe, we can make choices that are lower vibrational and therefore create some unpleasant things in our reality. Okay. But the predominant law, this law of more life, indicates to us that it is our divine right to thrive because we can't give what we don't have. The more abundance you have, the more you can give. The more love you have, the more love you can give. The more kindness you feel for yourself, the more kindness you can give to others. The more success that you have, the more you can inspire others to be more successful. Okay? So please remember, we determine our level of worthiness or deservingness. That in this law-based universe, money is not necessarily a direct result of work. Now, does that mean that you can just sit in your chair all day thinking to yourself, more money, I have more money, and I feel really, really great about it, and then money is just magically going to manifest, materialize in your bank account? There is also, within this law-based universe, there are certain channel ways and pathways that things occur, okay? Is it possible that a tree could manifest right here if I vibrated it long enough, that it would just materialize instantaneously? Maybe, but I mean, who wants to spend their entire life clearing away counter beliefs to even be in vibrational alignment with that being a possibility? Okay. So a more likely scenario is if I'm focusing on, I want to grow a tree and I'm feeling aligned with that, I'm going to receive inspiration to go out, maybe to a tree nursery, to go for a walk and I find an acorn. Someone might be riding their bicycle past my home and drop off a seedling. Maybe it just so happens that as I was in that state of wanting to create that manifestation in my life, the universe orchestrated things based on law where someone just so happened to be en route in my neighborhood with trees that they were gifting. And you could say, that is an incredible coincidence. And I would say, that is law. Okay. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is challenge all of your beliefs on this topic. Grab your notebook, do another brain dump exercise. Do you believe that you need to work hard in order to earn money? Okay. What do you believe about your worthiness? Where do you believe money comes from? How do you believe money enters into people's lives? And start clearing away all of those lower vibrational, emotionally charged beliefs that you start to identify, okay? What happens is when you really get aligned with the vibration of having more abundance in your life, you're going to receive ideas, inspiration, opportunities will come into your life. Someone will say to you, I've got this program and I'm teaching you how to do this, this, or that in your business. Or someone will say, here's this really great book that I read, and it's about a new marketing strategy that you've never heard of before, which just so happens to be perfectly aligned with you and your big vision goals. And when you put those things into motion and you take strategic action that is aligned with the vibration of the abundance that you're wanting to create for yourself, that you're able to then create a new area in your business that thrives, okay, and becomes a source for more money than you've ever experienced before. But it looks like it's very logical, okay, because it is. We're not talking about the law of attraction as it's frequently taught, where you just sit and you meditate on what you want, you visualize what you want, and then you do nothing. You're going to be inspired to take certain actions, okay? And you'll feel that alignment with those actions. And it may not produce immediate monetary, tangible results, but you'll feel like I'm doing the right things. I'm going in the right direction. And the universe will continue to show you the next step and then the step after that. And if you continue to clear away any limiting beliefs that come up for you and continue to vibrate, to focus, to feel how good it feels to have the level of abundance you want, that is how money is created. Has nothing to do with how hard you work, which is oftentimes demonstrating resistance. You could have two people doing the exact same task, okay? One person could be really happy doing that task. They could love it. They could feel in alignment. It doesn't even feel like work. Same amount of time, same amount of hours, same everything. Feels great to them. They're highly productive. Money is flowing in. They feel fantastic. They love their life. Another person doing the exact same thing, filled with resistance, doesn't want to be doing it, doesn't feel good about it, feels out of alignment, incongruent with themselves, has all sorts of limiting beliefs that they now are trying to push through. And they're taking the same amount of time doing the same tasks as this person over here, and it feels hard, and it feels like work, and it's draining, and it's tiring, okay? Now, more than likely, this person over here is going to get much better results than this person over here. And what is the quality of their life, right? So hard work usually indicates resistance. That's a mindset thing. Those are exactly those types of things that we want to clear away, okay? You don't get brownie points for pushing through resistance, okay? You are going to be a much more effective individual with much more value to give others, because remember, you can't give what you don't have if you do not have resistance. Wouldn't that indicate then that ease and flow and alignment would be a higher vibration and a closer vibration to abundance and prosperity than hard work and resistance? Okay, so please keep doing your inner work. There's a lot of stuff you got to clean up on this, but it is absolutely worth it.